So here's the thing, and not sure if you're aware of this, people come in all shapes and sizes. Big, tall, wide, narrow, short, skinny, you name it. But for ages, most sleeping bags, especially those designed specifically for backpacking, have only come in one size, maybe two. Regular-ish and long. Thanks to REI, that all just changed. Because the new Zephyr 25 is available in not one, not two, but 9 different sizes. But as great as that sounds, is it as high quality of a bag as we hoped? And do larger sizes actually fit larger bodies? We tested a couple to find out. We got our hands on a couple of REI Zephyr 25 sleeping bags to see if they're all they're cracked up to be. We got the very smallest size they make and the very largest. I tested the smallest, the short narrow, and we got a friend to try out the largest. This is Christian. He used the tall wide. We got cozy inside our respective bags. I took mine backpacking. We checked out the features, tried them on for size, literally, and just generally investigated if these are the top tier bags we hoped they were. But before we get into the review, I just want to quickly talk about materials and features. The Zephyr bags are made of 100% recycled materials, and yes, that includes the synthetic insulation. And on this bag, there are plenty of features to like, including an interior tech pocket, a zipper baffle and collar to help keep out the cold, and a nice roomy toe box. The fabric is soft, and there are 2 independent cinch cords in the hood. That said, a lot of these features didn't function quite as well as I anticipated. The hood was a bit low volume, tolerable, but definitely not roomy enough for more than a very small stuff sack full of clothes that doubles as a pillow when you have the hood cinched down. Yes, I prefer my pillow on the inside, but I move around a lot in my sleep and often sleep on my side, so I like my pillow where I can easily move it as I toss and turn, okay? The tech pocket also wasn't particularly well thought out. There's no zipper or Velcro on it, and this material that goes over the pocket opening isn't tight enough to actually keep anything in the pocket. So basically, while my phone may have started out in the pocket at the beginning of the night, it pretty quickly just ended up flopping around inside the bag with me. There are also only zips on the left side, so no zipping 2 bags together, unfortunately. As for the collar, I found it positioned too low down in the bag. I mean, the point of a collar is to drape around your neck and over your shoulders to help block any cold air that enters through the hood from, creeping down into the body of the bag. But the collar just sort of rested on top of my collarbones and shoulders, which means it's not really doing what it's supposed to do. Now, this could be a sizing thing. Maybe a larger bag wouldn't have had this problem. I am right at the limit of the height rating for this bag, but it's hard to say. Then there's the temperature rating. In my experience, it's pretty far off. Now, if you know anything about sleeping bag temperature ratings, they can be all over the place. We'll link to a video we did explaining all about it down below. But the Zephyr specifies that 25 is actually the comfort rating. Well, 28. Close enough, which means that's the temperature at which you should be comfortable sleeping in this bag. So I had no qualms about taking it into the high Uintas in Utah. Check out the video we did about that experience. We'll link to it below. Where overnight lows were slated to be about 40 or 42 Fahrenheit, well within tolerances. However, I was quite cold all night long in this bag. And yes, I did have a sleeping pad with an R value of 2.8 and a foam pad under that, so I should have been plenty well insulated. Indeed, from the bottom up, I was perfectly fine, but from the top down, I was not. In contrast, Josh slept in one of our favorite 35-degree Sierra design sleeping bags and was a bit chilled the first night, but ultimately fine. Now, I do sleep cold, but that shouldn't be enough to make up for a 12-degree temperature difference. Just saying, if you sleep cold, you may not want to trust the temperature rating on this bag. So basically, while I initially thought the Zephyr looked and felt like a pretty nice bag at a pretty good price, just under $200 for every size, not bad for a backpacking sleeping bag, I actually found it a little bit disappointing in practice. But let's talk about the sizing options. which are extensive, and which I truly appreciate as a small human, of course, but also because I know how many plus-size outdoorists are out there who don't go camping or backpacking as often as they'd like because there either aren't big enough bags for their bodies or they have to carry two and zip them together. And that sucks, especially when you're backpacking and the weight you're carrying on your back is a major concern. Now, as a small person, most sleeping bags are a bit too big for me, and before you ask, yes, most youth bags are too small. I'm 5'3" and less than 110 pounds soaking wet. So in a regular bag, I have tons of extra room by my feet and usually so much extra width I can curl into a ball inside my sleeping bag. That's obviously not nearly as bad as not having a bag that someone might not even be able to zip up, but it does mean that I'm probably going to be colder in a regular sized bag because there's more empty space to fill up with my body heat that, let's be honest, I don't have a lot of to spare. So I end up shoving extra clothes, my boots, sometimes even a backpack inside with me just to fill the extra space. Again, totally not as big of a deal as the opposite problem, but other small humans will understand the struggle. So yeah, I was pretty stoked to have a bag that didn't have all that extra space. There was still plenty of room to move around inside the bag and stretch and point my toes and whatnot, but no, I could no longer curl up in the fetal position in the middle of my bag. But let's talk about the other end of the spectrum, the wide and long bags. Now, there are 7 sizes in between, by the way, all some combo of short, medium, or long, and narrow, medium, or wide. For this test, we invited Christian to try out the wide-long option. Now, he's 6'4" and about 22 inches across in the shoulders. And he said while he had plenty of room to play with lengthwise, he probably wouldn't want the bag to be any narrower. Meaning if you're much wider than Christian, you may be out of luck when it comes to even the largest bag fitting well. That said, we had other plus-sized outdoorists chime in on the bag sizing, most notably Andrea from Make Plus Equal. We'll link to a video combo we had with her about plus-size gear and apparel below. And she confirmed that the measurements of these bags are pretty inclusive if you compare them to most of the plus-size outdoor apparel available from more inclusive outdoor brands. So what does this mean for this impressive range of sleeping bag sizes? Maybe not surprisingly, small folks still win, but a much wider range of outdoorists are going to find a bag in this lineup that fits them better than maybe any bag ever. Could these bags be wider, especially in the hips? Because they are all mummy bags after all, meaning wide shoulders like Christian's are better accommodated than wide midsections. Absolutely they could be, but it's definitely a leap in the right direction, especially considering most other bags with similar or even slightly wider measurements in the hips aren't usually intended for backpacking. There's one plus-size bag from Marmot, the Trestles Elite Eco Plus, that's lighter weight, but most other bags that at least match the Zephyr's 66 inches around the hips are big, heavy, boxy bags designed for car camping. And frankly, the Zephyr makes some of the longest bags we've found, so extra tall folks, rejoice. Including tall thin folks, and tall wide folks, and short wide folks, and average height folks, and pretty much everyone in between. So yeah, these are still a pretty standout option. One of the few, in fact, for backpacking if you're not exactly average sized. But if not, we'll link to a few larger options below because everyone should be able to sleep comfortably outdoors. If you like this video, make sure to check out these others. Then get out there, wander on, whatever size sleeping bag you need.
Oh, wait, I screwed it up. Sorry. Try it again. All right.